Hi friends and fellow Earth Angels, it's Gladys, and welcome back to another one of my Pick a Pile moon readings. And today's theme is tapping into the energy of the Sagittarius full moon, which also includes the energy of the super moon, meaning that the moon is closest to the earth, as well as an eclipse in the midst of Pluto and Saturn retrograde and soon to be Mercury retrograde. So Sagittarius is a fun-loving energy. It's usually depicted with the arrow. It's the archer. It's the adventurer energy. And so I wanted to start with sharing with you some of the intuitive guidance that I've been getting recently from my own personal meditations and then from readings that I have been doing with clients that have been coming up. So, we're in the midst of this 5 energy. May is the 5th month of the year, when the moon was full, it was at 5 degrees, and so was the sun, 5 degrees in Gemini. 2021 also equals 5, so on Earth's trajectory of her 9-year cycle, she is in a 5. So we're in this massive shift, massive transformation. Some of you might even not recognize who you are. Some of you might be in a space of pride, spiritual pride, and I have to say, as well as I feel the pride for you too on your spiritual journey, because you've come such a long way. Some of you may not even recognize who you are compared to even 6 months ago. So the imagery that I keep getting is the energy of the butterfly. So you have to remember, from this point going forward, you're no longer a caterpillar. You can't move, breathe, get around like a caterpillar anymore, meaning your old ways of doing things, old beliefs, operating in fear, right? Going outside of yourself for the answers. It's just not, it's going to be murky. It's going to be kind of like walking in the fog. And so you're being reminded to trust your own intuition, your own inner guidance, as it won't steer you wrong, right? You are now this butterfly that's learning how to use your wings in this new body, in this new form. This is the energy of transformation. It's the energy of evolution, and it's so powerful, my friends. Now, some of the energies that we can get consumed by in our human self with the Sagittarius full moon, opposing the Gemini sun, is, Gemini is a very talkative sign. So if we are operating from that low vibrational egoic place, we could succumb to gossip, sometimes being flippant, disrespectful or dishonoring, dismissive, we could get up, we could reconnect with people and get chatty and talkative. So just be mindful of those qualities. I see the Archangel Gabriel with communication. Another guidance, another message that I've been personally getting to is to remind you to tie up loose ends. Mercury retrograde is a time to renew, review. It's kind of like a pullback. It's not necessarily forward movement. So as tensions in the world or things can get stirred up around you and family members, people are in the midst of their shadow stuff, friends. And for me, I just find it liberating. Stuff needs to come up and out. There's a lot of confusion. And so the best thing you can do as an Earth Angel is pray for Mother Earth, pray for her people, pray for the people that are in their full humanness, awakening to their divine self. yourself, because if you've ever gone through that dark night, or you've ever gone through those awakenings, which, we can have multiple throughout our lifetime, you know how confusing it can be. There's a lot of ego deaths that are happening right now, right? Meaning that we're seeing our truer selves, and in turn the lies and the rose-colored glasses need to come off and need to be exposed, right? And again, this is all happening internally, and then gets also projected out into the world. So as above, so below, as within, so without. So this is where patience, these next couple weeks, it's a wonderful time for surrender, forgiveness, release, as with every full moon, right? You're in this metamorphosis, you're in this transformation, and understand you're kind of moving forward on a new path. You're paving a new path, and that takes time. It takes time to move ahead a little bit and then pause and reflect. There's a lot of shedding and purging of relationships now, and there is, a lot of I want to say like having aha moments and awarenesses. So it's really important for you to be mindful of how you're feeling through this experience, and being able to go in and talk to your guides and your angels and beings of light that assist you on your course to help you move forward in divine timing. So the cards I chose for your reading to support you is, I'm going to start with a message from Archangel Michael. It's going to be a prayer. We're going to start with a prayer that you could be guided to and you can use for the next couple weeks. And then I'm going to ask Michael what he suggests that you could surrender and release and forgive in this full moon in Sagittarius. And then I'm going to get a message of healing, what you could do, a message that can support you in your healing work. And then what lessons you're going through on your soul journey to support you further. And then I'll finish with gifting you with a divine power animal that you can activate and utilize throughout these 2 weeks. So, as always, I'm going to pull the cards right on camera so you can see how they come out. If you are not interested, you just want to skip ahead, I will put the messages and the timestamps, and then also the timestamp for each reading. All right, friends, so let me start by opening up space, inviting in all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light that would like to assist with this guidance for you today. Specifically, I would like to connect with the heart of Archangel Michael, the protector, the guardian of our light, the bodyguard of earth angels. And I'm going to ask that the messages that come through be for your best and highest good, and the best and highest good of all concerned. All right, Michael, what messages do you have for us? 3 cards. 3 cards. Just make it easy. Those 3. All right, Michael. So the first card we have, it's time to leave this unhealthy situation. And the prayer is, Archangel Michael, what parts of my life do I need to focus on more closely right now? Thank you for helping me hear your answers and for giving me the courage to make healthy changes in my life. Oh my gosh. Detach from this situation. Very much like the first one. It says, Archangel Michael, I ask that you use your flaming sword to cut any attachments to fear or drama so that I may be centered in the knowingness that your peace is everywhere within me and the situation. And then explore your options. Wow. Dear God, thank you for your wisdom and love, helping me see, understand, and assess all my alternative options. Please guide me in the best direction for my life, happiness, and life's purpose. So I am going to pull the rest of the pile. And then what I'll do is in the timestamp, I'll do the intro to the cards. Like if you're still not sure which one, I'll do a little intro and explain the energy that I get into each. And then we'll get into the piles. So let's see here. So Michael, for pile 1, what does pile 1 need to surrender? This full moon in Sagittarius. And pile 2, what does pile 2 need to surrender? And pile 3. What does pile 3 need to surrender? And Michael, what's the message of healing for pile 1? The message of healing to support them. Sagittarius full moon. And pile 2, message of healing do you have? Pile 2. And pile 3, message of healing do you have for pile 3? And what lessons are being learned? Okay, wait a minute, clear that. What guidance can the soul offer for the full moon in Sagittarius? What guidance does the soul want to offer? This could be like an action step for pile 1. And pile 2. What does the soul want to offer the EarthAngel as action? Guidance forward. This full moon in Sag. And pile 3. Action that the soul feels for the full moon in Sag. For pile 3, action forward. All right. And then finally, power animal. What power animal is Michael gifting you this full moon in Sagittarius 2021? And pile 2, what power animal is Michael gifting you? Full moon in Sagittarius 2021. And pile 3, what power animal is Michael gifting you? Full moon in Sagittarius 2021. I don't know if I just said 2023 in pile 2. If I did, I mean 2021. All right, let's see. All these colors, so similar. So, I chose these colors just by intuition, and I'm looking at them now, which so connected to intuition, protection, Archangel Michael with the sword. All right. Okay, friends, so here's the piles. And so the intuitive guidance I'm getting, if you haven't chosen your pile yet, this one says it's a time to leave this unhealthy situation, and this is detach from the situation. So I feel like this pile could be those of you who are contemplating. Maybe you have this deep inner knowing that it's time to make a change or time to make a shift or a leap of faith or stirring yourself in another direction. And there's all these I'm not really sure. Am I doing the right thing? I feel like that guidance could be for those who chose pile one. That could be the mini guidance for pile one. Pile two could be those of you who are ready. You've made the decision. It's time. I'm very clear, but yet could also be in that place of fear. Like, how do I move forward? I'm very clear. I've gotten the guidance. And now Archangel Michael, clear any attachments, right? Maybe egoic thoughts, low vibrational energies, limiting beliefs. And so that could be for pile two. And then third, of course, as always with my readings, like one plays on the other, right? And then for this one, explore your options. It is, okay, now I'm moving forward, and I'm seeing like the Archer energy with the Sagittarius, right? So I feel like this pile could be those of you who are in a space where it's like, okay, I know what it is that I need to do. I'm clearing the energy, and then, okay, let me pave the best path forward. And so this is kind of like forward movement. This is calling in direction and guidance. So that is, as we have the Sagittarius full moon here, which is look at the bigger picture, being able to pull back and being able to set a plan in motion for the new moon in Gemini that's coming in a couple weeks. So give you a moment, take a deep breath. You may hear the wisdom, the guidance. You might hear the numbers 1, 2, or 3. You might feel your energy be pulled to a certain pile. And I'm going to begin. All right, so for those of you who chose pile one, welcome. So once again, the prayer. So this could be a prayer. Again, you can screenshot the card, you can pause it and write the prayer down. This is intended to offer you some support for the next 2 weeks, as it seems like you get clear about your own pathway. And I feel like there's some shedding here. Like I'm seeing the snake and like shedding the skin. And the snake sheds its skin by movement. So when it moves along the rocks or in the woods or in the trees or along the ground, its skin naturally sheds. So I'm seeing those of you who chose pile one, you could be in this period of like, it could be like rebirth, regeneration. And in that, personally, in your own soul's growth, and in that comes to light a mismatch of vibrations around you, right? Maybe you're noticing addictions, codependencies. Maybe you're noticing things that are not in alignment with who you are right now. And again, opting out from this is good, bad, right, wrong, positive, or negative. I feel like those of you who chose pile one may be having some awarenesses and aha moments, but actually saying it and speaking your truth, that's where it might be getting caught up. So the prayer is, Archangel Michael, what parts of my life do I need to focus on more closely right now? Thank you for helping me hear your answers and for giving me the courage to make healthy changes in my life. You could also be in a space of distraction. You might already know the answer, so maybe it is time to shift out of a job or a relationship, or a dynamic that you have played a role in. And say you just kind of wake up and you're like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to take part anymore. It's kind of that people pleasing. It's kind of that, feeling obligated, things like that. You're coming into your own power, friends, right? Really activating your own light within. And so I feel, wait a minute. Okay, so I feel like that first part is, where are you distracting yourself from the action that needs to be taken, right? So I know when I need to make a decision and I need to communicate with someone or have a tough conversation, I clean my house. I get really OCD. So everything gets cleaned out, and my closet is color coded, and the rugs are vacuumed 500 times, and everything is clear and neat, because I know I've got the disorder and disarray going on inside of me, which is just like the buildup of emotional energy that needs to shift. So pay attention to where you could be distracting yourself, right? And again, I mentioned in the beginning of the video, like, this is a good time for you to tie up loose ends. If you've got things that you've been avoiding and procrastinating on, this is a time to get it done, clear it out, kind of like that spring cleaning energy. I feel like that could be wonderful for the next couple weeks, or the next 3 weeks as we go into Mercury retrograde. But also be mindful that you're not immersing yourself into those types of things and avoiding the inevitable, or avoiding the tough conversation, or avoiding people, right? And I know more, I understand more than most, as me being such a sensitive soul, especially as that quadruple Cancer. I understand how difficult it is to have tough conversations with people and really stand in your own power, and also not want to hurt other people or disappoint them, right? Even if they're not in your best interest, right? That's the beautiful gift of compassion that Earth Angels have, and we're really learning about boundaries. So what Michael suggests, that you could surrender to the full moon in Sagittarius. Fear. Oh, this is so beautiful. It says, let go of the fearful stories you're telling yourself, right? I feel like this is where it's like, I know this needs to be said. This also could be tapping into your own identity too. So if you're evolving and you're shifting and you're growing, and your opinions, or your belief systems might differ from, those that are around you. Sometimes Earth Angels have a tendency to stifle their voice, to not have confrontation. Sometimes Earth Angels can avoid situations like that for fear of attack, which is very valid and very real, especially in the world that we're in right now. So Michael is asking you to surrender fear to him, to surrender fear in the full moon, and also to any people, places, things, and ideas that instilled those seeds of fear in you. Basically connected to conditional love. If you don't do this, then I will pull my love away. And that can happen in so many actions, right? We're now moving into the space of conditional love that you can embody for yourself. So the message here says, let go of the fearful stories you're telling yourself. Stay in the moment, focus on solutions, and celebrate every baby step forward. So, it's unrealistic to feel or think that we're going to get it right? Change is about trial and error, and we're in this massive 5 energy right now, right? And so I feel like that's why it says celebrate the baby steps. I did some tough stuff these last few days, and I've been really patting myself on the back and really, allowing that spiritual pride to fill me up and acknowledge my capabilities to evolve and shift and speak my truth and stand in my power. And of course, here comes the sirens now. Perfect timing. Michael knew how difficult those experiences and Oh, they just stopped. Michael knew how difficult those experiences were for me and how much courage it took to face the reality of the situation and lean into it and make the adjustments. So I feel like Michael's acknowledging here, he understands your fear, which is totally human, totally valid, and totally real, right? And without fear, we would never be able to access courage, right? Which is part of our strength, is being able to lean into the fear and being able to say, I'm not afraid of you anymore, right? It's like I'm seeing like the illusions being broken past. And this could be, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It could actually be in your physical world, or thread through each one of those vibrations. So what message... Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to do the soul one first. So what lessons are you learning? What does your soul want you to know about the lessons you're learning through the experiences you're going through now? Perseverance. Yes, don't give up. It says, I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. Oh, yes. Of course, it's that purple color too, right? And this is third eye. This is about being able to envision your way forward, right? Working with your guides, using your inner wisdom to persevere. This is what I was talking about, leaning into the fear and accessing your courage to move forward one step at a time, right? Baby steps. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. And so this is what your soul is reminding you. You have the power. You've had the power all along, my dear. I'm seeing the Good Witch and the Wizard of Oz. So maybe that's something special and unique to somebody out there who chose pile 1. All right, so your healing message. What message of healing to soothe your soul does Michael want you to know? Control issues. So yellow jasper. It says utilize your God-given strength and power instead of fearing that others may try to control you. So yellow jasper, you can again, you can screenshot this picture. We have yellow jasper, but I'm seeing a lot of orange here. Same thing with this, which is about empowerment. It is about joy. It is about passion as well. And so again, control is a form of fear, right? And I was mentioning earlier how, when I need to say something, when I have a realization or I need to release something and I know in my soul it's got to be done and it's just a hard thing, I tend to clean and get OCD, and that's me trying to control my environment because of the fear that's going on inside of me. And so I've learned to do the cleaning and then also give myself space to sit in silence. No music, in a sacred space that feels comfortable to me, and I just listen, friends. And I pose an inquiry question, right? Like, where do I start? What is the best pathway forward? All it is really recognizing this. Once you know this, you can't not know. Once you recognize this and it comes to light, the fear is, okay, now I have to do something with this. And your soul is reminding you that you have the gift of perseverance. Look how far you've come. Look at all that you've overcome in your life thus far, right? Look at the bigger picture and what you want for your life and what you desire, what you're worthy and deserving of. I'm seeing the words self-love, worth, value, putting yourself first, surrounding yourself with energies and experiences that nourish your soul and light you up. This is a time for you to purge and release that which is holding you back. And again, I feel like this energy goes right through the Mercury retrograde. It goes right through to the annular eclipse. We're in this eclipse tunnel, so we had the moon eclipse, the lunar eclipse, and the next one in a few weeks we'll have the annular, the solar eclipse. So we're in this tunnel, friends, of massive change. So even posing the question, I mean, this is one of my favorites. It's actually one that scares me a little bit too. Posing the question, the inquiry question to the universe, your guides, the God Goddess, and being able to say, who am I? Now, you could have wild dreams, you could have visions and experiences. I mean, I've gotten some things when I've asked that question that still freak me out to this day. I mean, the things haven't come into light yet, but I can see my pathway and how it's headed in that direction, and so I just know that my guides will always be with me. So that's a fun question to also, inquiry question to pose to the universe. Who am I? And you're going to get all the guidance on how to move forward into that space. All right, and so your power animal, the power animal that Michael is gifting with you this full moon in Sagittarius is, the falcon. Peregrine, falcon. And this is observation. Look at this falcon. Gosh. So crazy because this energy's been coming up for me a lot lately. So 2 + 5 = 7. 7 is about the shadow work, right? 7 is connected to the unseen. 7 is connected to our spiritual journey going within. It's connected to shadow work. And so I feel like you're being gifted with observation. So it may not be 2 weeks of action. This might be getting your ducks in a row, doing your own inner work before you get to the next step, which could be actually taking the action. So know that this pile is in no way saying you have to do it now. I believe God plants seeds way before it's time for action. And so I feel like this is coming up to prepare you. It's coming to, if this is really, really touching your heart and you're really feeling it, I feel like this is the pile to let you know that you're not going this alone, that you have these divine beings that are working with you, encouraging you. And that's what my intention is for these readings. A lot of people who watch my readings already know, and these readings are just validating what they know. It's by no means telling somebody what they should do, right? You need to do this, you need to do that. It really is, it comes to, and these messages seem to reach people at the time that they already know the answers within, and that, that humanness, and we waver. And so this just kind of reinforces, okay, I am moving in the right direction. That is my prayer for these types of readings that I'm doing. That's my gift, and that's how I choose to utilize it. So if you've already been getting an inkling, this is guidance that's saying you're on your way. And this might be a 2 weeks of just getting your ducks in a row, doing the inner shadow work, working with the falcon energy. Let me see here. Let me just look at this for a second. Let me just take a peek at this book because it's so powerful. It says, take a step back and simply observe a situation. Listen and watch before you decide on a course of action, as acting rashly will not serve you in your current situation. You're being supported by powerful forces. Do not fear, you are protected. Oh, and then with Michael, and then with the surrender fear and the perseverance and the courage and control issues. I mean, these are just absolutely magical. So, thank you so much for watching Pile 1. If your journey ends here, thank you for watching. If this message touched your heart or it reached you in some way, giving me a like would be great. Lets me know that you're liking these readings and I can do more of them. If you're enjoying this space, and you want to be part of this community, obviously, you can hit the subscribe button and notification, or leave a comment in how this may have touched you below. But nonetheless, regardless of any action that you take on my channel, know that, I'm very much enjoying your presence here. So just thank you for watching, and I send you love with heavenly hugs. Bye for now. And those of you who chose pile 2, welcome. So detach from this situation. All right, so this is almost like action forward, like this full moon in Sagittarius. This is about releasing, surrendering. It's about the way forward, right? It's about, Sagittarius is like the playful energy. It's a lighthearted, of the zodiac. So Michael is reminding you here, it says, Archangel Michael, I ask you to use your flaming sword to cut away any attachment to fear or drama so that I may be centered in the knowingness that peace is everywhere within me and the situation. So one of the images I got while I was reading this was feeling nauseous, like a tug of war. And so different from pile 1, you might be in a space where you are starting to take action forward. You are starting to make the shifts and you're feeling the tug of war. You may be feeling the resistance from the people, places, things, and ideas. Or you might be in the thick of it and, there's these insecurities of, am I doing the right thing? Again, I'm just feeling the energy in my solar plexus. So, if you're in that space in your life, taking a deep breath, sometimes when we make big decisions or take actions, we're like, oh God, I hope it all works out. And so Michael is reminding you to detach from naysayers, Debbie Downers, negative Nancy's, and that's not necessarily attached to a person. It could be your own thinking. It could be your own self-sabotaging ways, right? So Michael is reminding you that you don't have to go it alone, but if you're feeling the tug of war, if you're feeling the pull, if you're feeling kind of like nauseous on that emotional roller coaster, Archangel Michael is asking you to call him in to cut those attachments, ground and center. I'm seeing like if you can get into some root chakra work, if you can, get a massage or some energy work. If you can maybe get your feet on the earth, spend some time outside, if that's something that is in alignment with what feels right to your inspirational pull, definitely do things like that. So understand too, I'm also seeing like cleansing energies, right? So earth angels, our energies and our auras can be kind of like cheesecloth, right? And fragmented energy can get in, especially if you're very empathic. It can be really hard sometimes without some really deep work and some practice to know what is yours and what is others. So this is also speaking to those of you who are very empathetic and sometimes can get enmeshed and entangled in other people's energies. So much so where you're like, I don't know what the right thing is. It's almost dark too in a way where if you're in situations where there is control, if you're in situations where there is energies that are pulling at you with unrealistic expectations and, how do I describe it? This could be in a relationship. It could be in a work environment. It could be family oriented. It could be your own inner stuff, that's coming up. I'm feeling that Michael is asking you to call him in to help you detach from those experiences to protect you so that you can get some clarity about a way forward. You can get some clarity or some space. That's why I think grounding exercises would be really phenomenal for you. And then energy cleansing or clearing. And again, I cannot say enough about Steve Noble's YouTube channel. His meditations are phenomenal. So, anyone you pick, anyone that you guided to are going to be super beneficial, especially now with this Sagittarius full moon and purging and releasing and surrendering and forgiving and all that good stuff. All right, Michael. So what do you suggest those that chose pile to surrender this full moon in Sagittarius? Ooh, surrender to creativity. I love it. Let your imagination soar. Stay open to all creative ideas about how to pursue a dream or solve a problem. So this is, again, the action-oriented. You are in a space where you're moving forward and you may be getting resistance, or people may not understand you, and that's completely okay. Again, this massive change right now. It's like you've evolved into this butterfly and you're learning how to use your wings and gain some strength, and people aren't going to recognize you, right? They knew you as a caterpillar, but now you've evolved spiritually, and this isn't like an egoic I'm better message. It's more of like an evolution, like grade school, right? You go to first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth. You have to kind of go through the stages. So sixth graders aren't better than first graders. It's more of an evolution of education. So that's what I mean when I talk about your own butterfly metamorphosis. It doesn't mean that you're better. And, if we are in that space, then we still have to do some egoic work, because, we're in the space of learning that everybody is where they're supposed to be, and all the different stages and all the different places people are at on their spiritual journey is what creates the balance on this planet. So it's all important. It all matters. So get creative. So you might be stuck with like problem solving and how do I move forward? Maybe you have an idea that's not working, and the universe is saying kind of go within that sacral chakra to find creative ways to solve a problem or to pursue a dream. This is that part where it requires meditation, it requires pause, it requires silence and going within and listening, posing an inquiry question to the universe, to God, the goddess, the universe, source, creator, whatever that energy is for you. Unconditional love vibration. It's about posing that question, saying, okay, what is the best pathway forward? I was having that experience myself, and I was actually journaling in the full moon energy. And I had just this aha, or this awareness, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is such an easier way to communicate. That is such a better way for me to explain myself and how I'm feeling. And I can tell you, friends, it was nothing my ego was going to come up on. My ego self was going to come up with, of limitation was going to come up with on its own. So I know it was divine. And I wrote it down real quick because I know I would forget it. So, this is how wisdom comes. It comes from like this well, this abyss inside of you. And so the universe is saying, let us get creative about how to make this forward movement for you amicable and joyful, right? And playful. I said earlier in the intro that, the Sagittarius moon and Gemini sun right now can bring up a lot of talkative energy, but it also can bring up a lot of curtness, or like, I want to say like, well, the word is flippant, but almost like dismissive or curt, or just be mindful of how you're putting your communication out there. If it's, dismissive, or you may also be receiving that. Say you open your heart and you share, and somebody is dismissive, or they turn around and gossip about you, that's on them. And so, this, especially with this Mercury and retrograde, Mercury energy that's about to shift, is like the lines of communication can get disoriented, right? So I feel like, for a lot of us, being able to move forward from that inner wisdom, from that guidance that comes, I sit and listen to, okay, what should I do next? Okay, where's my next step? All right, so I was doing that. I've been practicing that and being in alignment with when I go out. And the other day I had so many errands to do. I was just getting overwhelmed that I had to do all these things in a short amount of time. And so I just called on my guides and I said, all right, when is the best time to go? And I left my house and I just left my pathway and where I was going to go. I didn't plan. I had to be in one city And I had like 5 or 6 different stops in that one city. And instead of planning out where I was going to go, I just decided where I was going to go first. And I went, and my first pit stop was easy and effortless. And then when I got back in the car, I was like, okay, guides, where's my next stop? And then I just sat and I listened, and I just saw the imagery of where to go next. And then I was actually driving, and my guidance was like, no, go over here instead. So I just recalculated my GPS, and I can tell you all of those stops, my friends, there were no lines. I mean, I was talking about supermarkets and banks and appointment. And I had an appointment to go to. So all those appointments were like flawless and effortless. And now that was in the midst of the full moon chaos, which could have gone awry in a lot of ways. And it was so funny. I was standing at the register at Trader Joe's. That was my last stop. And I got up to the register, and they were like, how's your day going? And I was like, easy. I'm like, do you know how good that feels to say my day is going easy? And I was like, I'm ready to go home. So they were laughing, and the store was like dead. There was really nobody in there, which is like a phenomenon for Trader Joe's. And so I just felt like my energy, I was like, oh, I pray the rest of your day goes easy too. And I just kind of sent that energy off to them, and everybody was happy and they were friendly. And, I got home and I was like, that's how I choose to live my life. And so it comes from being creative, almost in a space of following the leads of the universe, right? Relinquishing control of how things should be or need to be, and then going into the space of, okay, where to next, and letting your guides guide you. So that can be really fun and playful, especially the next couple weeks. And you might get guidance, don't go at all. Listen to that too. You'll know when it's time to head out. All right, so I switched the piles. So I want to do the soul card first. So I'm going to ask Michael, your soul, what lesson is, are you learning? What message are you learning? This is kind of like a message from your soul. Gratitude. Oh, I love it. It says, I am thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. So it's reminding you that this situation or experience you're in is an opportunity to grow. And so, it can be easy to kind of get into the doldrums. Why me? Why can't things be easy? Why does it have to always go the hard way? And I feel like Michael's just reminding you that all these opportunities, all these are opportunities for you to grow, for you to shine your light, and then eventually teach and support others. So getting into that space of gratitude for having maybe guidance, having, an intuition that you're connected to, having messages and signs come to you, really kind of being in that space of this feels good, more of this or something even better. Because more often than not, when we're in our light and we're expanded in that sense, energies that are not a vibrational match to that at that time will go away on their own accord. So sometimes we can get too caught up in the details. Sometimes, getting into creativity, I've been coloring a lot lately, and I've been doing a lot of art therapy on some of my own shadow work, and getting creative with it and exploratory. And I'm grateful for those experiences, which have just given me more clarity on how to move forward in my own situations and experiences. So these are kind of little tidbits that can help you and support you as you're going through this metamorphosis, these changes. So I'm going to ask Michael, what messages of healing do you have for the Earth Angels who chose pile 2? Ooh, balancing masculine and feminine energy. So this is a time for action and then a time for pause. This is, let me see here. This is like, I feel like it's time. Like this would speak to other things that you need to get done. What are you procrastinating on? And then also too, how are you taking care of yourself and nourishing your soul? So the message on the card says, allow your feminine side to creatively inspire you. There's that word again, friends, right? And your masculine side to give you confidence. So Michael is gifting you with ametrine to support you, that when you intuitively get those ideas, your inner masculine is going to support you and give you the confidence, right? I was talking to, my cousin and telling her how proud I was, and I've missed my masculine energy because I'm getting so much work done and there are so many things that I'm doing that I've been procrastinating on, and I'm in this action mode that just feels really good because I was in my feminine. I was on island time for a long time, right? And so I'm feeling the balance and the harmonies of these energies, and it really is like your empowerment. So know that when you sit and you pause and you reflect and you get that intuitive guidance or that hit as a way forward, your inner masculine will encourage you to take the actions, to follow a step-by-step process to achieve your goals one step at a time. Remember, your healthy inner masculine isn't going to belittle you, berate you. It's not going to punish you. It's going to cheer you on, right? And it's going to give you the energy to get the things that you need to done, which is beautiful. And then your feminine energy, which is intuition and creativity, and it's receptive energy, receiving, right? There's this beautiful balance going on of giving and receiving. So, maybe this is a space you're in and you're doing a lot of giving, right? And so get creative on how you can give and receive from that healthy, supportive place. So the second healing message is purification and detoxification. It's no coincidence that these are the same colors here. Periwinkle, that's a color that came up a lot in my Sunday reading, which if you haven't seen that, I will link that at the end of this video because that offered some really great guidance for this week. So purification and detoxification. It says it's time to release physical and energetic toxins from your life. This is exactly what I was talking about in the beginning of this reading, going to ground, purging and releasing any energy that no longer resonates with you to the earth, being able to use one of those Steve Noble cleansing meditations. Here it is again. And if you have garnet, again, it's another tool that you can sit with. Allow the energies kind of like crystal magnets, just kind of pulling out what no longer serves you. Any energies or fragments from, all the dust that you might pick up along the way, or the scattered energy that you might get, especially if you have to work in an environment or you're in environments where there's a lot of people. Maybe you live in a development, like a housing community where there's a lot of people. Maybe you work in an environment where it's a big corporation, or busy and you're around a lot of people. Maybe you're interacting with a lot of people throughout the day. These next couple weeks would be really great for you to practice some cleansing, releasing. And again, cleansing, releasing, not that those outside have power and control over you, but it's the awareness of kind of like taking a shower, right? Think of it that way. It's like, I've got to be an introvert and I can't go out. It's too people-y out there. And I've said that to myself way too many times. But being able to think of it as when you get home from like a germy situation, or when you get home from a hike, or maybe you've been at the hospital or whatever, when you get home, you take a shower, you just cleanse yourself. So think about this card as spiritual cleansing to keep you clean and keep you neat and to nourish and take care of your energy fields. Think of it that way. And then final message, Archangel Michael, what power animal are you gifting pile 2 this full moon in Sagittarius? Companionship. The dog. Again, there's those colors again, right? We have these beautiful colors all aligned, and then green with the heart chakra. So companionship. The Archer. Do you see it? Here's the Sagittarius energy right here. I almost feel like this is saying you never, ever walk alone. So this could be detaching from a relationship. It could be detaching from something that, there might be some dependency there, or there might be some fear from obligations of leaving a situation. This is card number 11. Oh, it's 41. 41, of course, equals 5, right? So you're in massive change right now. So I feel like your divine feminine is calling you within to get creative about your movements forward. So I did this in pile 1. Let me just get to the book here and just read the quick message about the dog. Oh, some of you, this is like, go take your dogs for a walk. Your dog is cleansing and clearing. And some of you could also have lost a dog, and your dog, and this is a message from your dog that's saying, I'm with you and I'm going forward with you now in spirit. Maybe your dog knew that your life was changing and it was time to transition so that you could move forward, in a different space. So the message here says, be a firm and ethical friend. Seek loyalty and honesty in your friendships. Our friendships should be supportive, not competitive. There's a difference between solitude and loneliness. Something hidden will be illuminated, and we all have aspects of our lives that we do not appreciate or like. Learn to change these things if they do not benefit us, or lovingly accept them. Wow. So again, this isn't about just calling everybody and saying your energy no longer serves me anymore, so we can't be friends. It's about shifting your own inner vibe and getting clear about what your boundaries are, what your needs are, the type of energies that are mutually supportive in your life right now. Feel in that energy and radiate that out, and be willing to relinquish those relationship dynamics, those experiences that are no longer benefiting you and the next stages of your growth. All right, so those of you who chose pile 2, thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you, if it touched your heart in any way, give me a like. Of course, if you like these readings, as you know, you could subscribe, which also brings you just connected to the other Earth Angels that are subscribed. Know that even though you may not comment regularly or click like or subscribe, know that when you do, you're part of an energy, you're part of a vibration, you're part of a knowingness of love. And I think, that's my intention, going into doing this type of work on this platform, is to create an energy vibration of support, not necessarily where we all have to know each other. So know that, like I said, how you show up, whether you just watch, whether you click like, whether you subscribe, whether you comment, or like I said, if you just kind of like pop in, know that your energy is part of this community. And I just thank you. So thank you so much for watching, and I send you love with heavenly hugs. And those of you who chose pile 3, welcome. So Michael's message, explore your options. So his message here says, or his prayer says, Dear God, thank you for your wisdom and love, helping me see, understand, and assess all of my alternative options. Please guide me in the best direction for my health, happiness, and life purpose. So the first 2 readings, this is kind of like an evolutionary experience here. The first 2 readings were like giving people more, giving those that chose those piles more direction. I'm feeling like those of you who chose pile 3, you might already be in forward movement. And now might be a place where you decide, okay, where am I going to go next? I did this thing, or I had this experience, I got the ball moving. And so you might be in a place of like, okay, what next? Where am I going? What are my next steps? And know that as you make changes in your life, as you go forward, it is going to require you checking in on a regular basis, because we all know everybody has the gift of free will on this planet, and everybody can do, say, be, or have anything that they want to do, right, in accordance to their own free will. So understand that we might have started off on a course. We might have got the ball moving or rolling, but free will sometimes can shift energies. So understand that there is never any one pathway forward. You know, the spiritual journey is very I want to use the word like metamorphic, and it just evolves, right? And this is why being in the present and being aware of the signs and checking in with our own intuition and guidance, it can give us some real clarity. We might have a plan, or we might have set something in motion, and now things have shifted a little bit, you know. And if we're attached to an outcome, or we're outcome dependent, like I'm doing this to get this, then it can certainly throw us off course, and then we go right into control and what it is that we know from that lower vibration of that ego place, right, of limitation and fear. So you might have already detached, you already might be moving forward, and this is kind of giving you like, okay, maybe you've come to a crossroads. And Michael is saying, explore your options here. And so sometimes the pathway is to wait until we get clarity forward. So some of you might be in this place of pause. All right, so let me pull the next card. So Michael, what would be beneficial for pile 3 to surrender this full moon in Sagittarius? Wow, surrender the need to always be right? This is the outcome dependent. It has to be this way. So here, and there's so much relationship energy here. Now I have to say, I've been completely unplugged. I've kind of been in a cave for the month of May. I knew the energies were going to be intense, so I've been doing a lot of journaling, a lot of shadow work personally. And so I don't really know exactly what's going out in the world or what's going on with people in general, but I'm getting from these piles a lot of relationship stuff coming up. A lot, and relationships are always an opportunity for us to Sorry, I was just hearing a noise in my window. I was like, what was that? The wind's blowing. Relationships are always an opportunity for us to get clear about what our boundaries are, what our needs are, what is it that we desire, right? So you might be squeezed in this and in this experience. So surrender from like needing to be right, or so how do I want to explain this? So earth angels, a lot of earth angels are gifted with intuition. So we can see a lot of ways, like other people's limitations. We can see like the things that they need to do to grow and evolve. And sometimes we can get so caught up in that we forget it's a direct mirror back to our own inner work. So I'm seeing kind of like an enmeshment here, and that's why maybe like there was some action forward and now there might be some confusion. So Michael is saying, surrender your need to always be right. It says, give others the gift of letting them be right. Be yielding, not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve your relationships. Like, it has to be this way. This is the only way. Or, you know, maybe somebody is posing options and maybe you're shooting it down, right? Nope. Sometimes if we've had bad experiences in the past, or less than ideal experiences, or painful or challenging experiences, when it comes back up, we can avoid that pain so much that we don't even want to look at it. And so I'm seeing the words I know with this. Surrender the I know. Period. Because none of us do in the grand scheme of things. So I feel like that's where it's like, okay, surrender into the will of what is. There's also some energy of acceptance that I'm getting here, accepting people as they are, and also knowing that they could or couldn't be a vibrational match. Maybe there were promises made, maybe there were plans that were made, and you are right. You are right. There might have been promises and plans, and you might be in that situation, but also understand, like I said, energy shifts and changes. And when we give other people the opportunity to offer some guidance, some resistance, offer some of that squeeze, it can kind of like change our course and our trajectory in a different way. Let me see here. Be yielding, not rigid. I'm seeing like my way or the highway, right? Oof. And this could be stuff that's coming up with this Sagittarius full moon, especially with the eclipse tunnel we've entered, Mercury, Pluto and Saturn all retrograde. So I'm seeing like the pot being stirred up here. And maybe the course has changed a little bit. So let me just get some more guidance. So I changed the pot, I changed the order here because it didn't feel right when I was doing it originally. So this is a message from your soul. What does your soul want you to know? What lessons are you going through, your human experience, that your soul wants to support you in? Envy and freedom. Wow. So again, we have these colors here, right? Yellow. Power. So there may be power struggles for you this full moon in Sagittarius. The envy card says, I'm the same as everybody, but with different challenges. And the power card, I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. So let me see here. I really want to look at the book on envy. Let me see here. Hold on, I'm just pausing here for a second. I see. It says you must learn to accept that the obstacles in your life have been chosen by you. To be jealous of the soul path of another is to doubt your ability to judge what is best for you. This is almost like an enmeshment a little bit. So maybe you have started forward movement. I don't know, maybe this is a romantic relationship and maybe they're like moving on, or maybe there's been changes and you're doubting, or maybe you've called something in really fast, let me see here. It says, it is human nature to covet the perceived luxuries of someone on a different journey, but to try to emulate him or her is not being true to your own guidance. You have chosen this life and these circumstances for a reason. By disregarding that and following in the footsteps of another, you're only setting yourself up for confusion and disappointment. I see. So, you could be, it almost feels like under influence. You could be seeking guidance from like people who you may feel might know better than you, right? Sometimes we can really go to like readers and, readings and, the metaphysics for answers, right? And they're not always right? They're really reading an energy of a space that you're in right now. This is kind of a difficult reading to share. It just seems like tough love a little bit. And So if you're looking at making changes in your life. I'm feeling like being mindful that you're doing it for your own personal readings and not because somebody else's life who's doing it looks more glamorous or easy. Because that's never true. And it almost feels like there's some freedom you're looking for here, right? So sometimes if we're in that place to leave a relationship or a job or situation, it could not necessarily be the literal change of that, right? It could be the change of your own vibration in it. So the Freedom card, I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. Yeah, so see, there's this reminder that you're on your own journey. And it's not going to look like anybody else's. And there's freedom in being able to pave your own path. Also being able to view mistakes as an opportunity to learn and not good or bad, right or wrong, right? So sometimes we can be so in that space, like, I know this is the way it has to be. And it can be very limiting because maybe somebody else did it that way, or maybe you're being told. And I feel like I said, if you're being told what to do, I feel like Michael's reminding you here to explore your options. Pull back. See the bigger picture, right? There's the Sagittarius full moon. Before you go forward more so, pull back. It's like sometimes we can get lost in the forest amongst the trees, but when we can find higher ground and we can look at the forest up from above a mountain, we can actually see the way out from a higher perspective. So I'm feeling like if you're kind of lost in this energy or kind of like grasping in the space of like, I need somebody to tell me what to do. And I certainly can understand that. I've had that happen to me more times than I can count. But, you know, when I settle eventually into my own being, my own inner essence, you know, the clarity forward is so much more empowering. And no, Earth Angels, you guys don't like to be told what to do. You guys, you know, it's like somebody will tell you and you're like, yeah, that's not it. So you could also, this is funny because now they're showing me that you could also be getting really great guidance, but that part of you that doesn't want to hear it or doesn't want to know, or it seems too scary or too much, or maybe you're dismissing it. You're like, no, that can't be it. Nah, that's not it. So anyway, they're going to be kind of two sides of the same coin going on here. All right, let me move forward. So Michael, what let me see if I can put this over here. What healing messages do you have for pile 3? Wow. Own your divine power. Sugar light. So it says, replace codependent people pleasing with assertiveness and empowerment. I feel like, again, this is part of going into your own wisdom, right? Like I said, maybe you have been getting guidance, you know, and you've kind of been resistant to it. Or maybe you've been looking at other people. And I mean, that's very normal. It's very human, right? But it may not be serving you if you're being triggered, right? If you're trying to do all these things to accomplish something, to achieve something, to get something, right? It doesn't always work out for the best, right? It kind of comes from manifesting from a lower vibrational place, and that energy cannot possibly sustain. So Michael's reminding you to own your own divine power. Replace the codependent people-pleasing kind of in a space. Remember, this is a stage, right? It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be guilty about. It's a stage that we all go through on our spiritual journey. It's almost like we need to have that experience for evolution, or have a plethora of a multitude of, or a plethora of experiences on this journey to evolve and grow. But now the universe is saying, step into your power with assertiveness and empowerment. And this is a soul journey, friends. Soul as in singular, and soul as in like higher essence. It's like tapping into your divine essence, right? We are 100% human, 100% divine, right? We are all human and all divine. This is what we've chosen to come into this life on this spiritual journey, especially as earth angels. So you're coming through this shedding, this metamorphosis of an old way of being, and now you've got to kind of rely on your own wings. It goes back to the messages and the guidance I was giving you at the beginning of the reading for overall, is like now you're kind of, wow, they're the sirens. Now you're stepping into your power, and you're learning how to fly with your own wings, right? So your journey is not going to look like anybody else's. You know, I've told people, God, I was living my purpose and I had no idea I was living my purpose, right? So sometimes we struggle with what's my purpose and what am I doing with my life and where am I going? And we're so busy looking at what everybody else is doing, which again is human, that we don't even realize that we're already immersed in our own journey. You know, I've been doing this work for 13 years. I've been doing this work privately on my own for longer than that. And, you know, it was only the last maybe 4 years that I actually stepped into this work as my purpose. Before that, I was just kind of surviving. I was doing it because I was good at it and it was a gift, but I never truly owned the work that I do as my power, as my purpose, as my passion, right? And over the last 4 years with the inner work that I've been doing on myself, I've uncovered this feeling of empowerment and assertiveness in the work that I'm doing, and it absolutely lights me up. I was doing this work way before I even believed I was supposed to be doing this work to step into purpose. So understand, you could already be in the experience that you want to be, but the cloud could be hiding that. So ask the angels to lift the veil so that you can see your pathway forward to freedom, right? And so the second healing message is stress reduction, of course, watermelon tourmaline. We have the masculine, feminine here energies and masculine and feminine energies. So again, this could not necessarily be a relationship with others. It could also be a relationship with the self. You know what I mean? If your inner masculine and inner feminine are duking it out, they're at odds with each other, and your masculine's trying to support you and your feminine's like, you know, I'm not listening to you. And this is like, you know, if you know that discipline and routine is something that's beneficial to you, but yet you don't want to show up to it, you know, so then we get lost in this airy energy of just kind of going with the flow, and then nothing ever gets done. Like that's kind of like the imbalances of the masculine feminine energies. And that's just a small example. So maybe working with your own inner masculine and feminine, especially if you are challenged in your personal romantic relationships with a partner with masculine and feminine energies. I feel like Michael's saying get clear here first with your own inner masculine and feminine. So anyway, this card says de-stress your mind, body, and schedule as you need rest, recharge, and revive. As you need to rest, recharge, and revive. So I feel like, again, you might be at a crossroads, explore your options. This is a time of pause. It's a time to, you know, de-stress. It's a time to observe, look at the situation you're in and the experiences, of course, in a loving, gentle way. Calling in the energy of watermelon tourmaline and sugar light can help you. And again, you know, maybe you thought you knew the pathway forward and it was so clear. And again, you could have invested money. You could have, been in education or invested in education, or you could have told people things. And now it's changed. And sometimes that ego is like, I don't want to admit this, or I don't want to, change my course, or, so that's kind of that, because that's the way this person did it. It can be really limiting to our freedom. All right, and final message here. So, Michael, what power animal are you gifting with pile 3? Those who chose pile 3, this full moon in Sagittarius. Oh, protection. The lioness. Absolutely. King, queen energy. Well, I would say queen because she's holding the Ankh here, which is the divine feminine essence. So again, this energy could have you been in your wounded masculine or distorted masculine energy, which can be aggressive, controlling, abusive, right? And again, this is stuff that we could be doing to ourselves and not realize how, come on, suck it up, get going, what's wrong with you? You know, that energy is not healthy. It's not going to encourage your sensitive soul to move forward. So the lioness, Michael is gifting you with the lioness, and which also connects me with the angel Ariel. Angel Ariel, I kind of see as Archangel Michael's counterpart. She's the angel of courage. So Michael helps us move through worries and fears, and Ariel assists us with being able to feel and find our courage, right? And we need to move through the fear in order to access courage. This is so beautiful how this is ending, because I started out talking about the fear and courage. So if you watched all 3 piles, I mean, this is a phenomenal conclusion to the entire reading from beginning to end. God, there's so many layers in here. It's so beautiful. And it's also card number 3. Card number 3 for me it represents the Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, the Egyptian Trinity, the Indian Trinity. It represents the Father, Son, Holy Spirit in a sense of masculine and feminine energy, the yin yang, the balance. That's how I've always seen 3 energy. And so again, there's this harmony here, this masculine and feminine energy within. And so, I feel like those of you who chose pile 3, you're being encouraged to get into your power, release that wounded masculine energy, the dictator, right? The militant masculine that's inside of you. And again, that will naturally shift it if it's in your physical life, in a partnership or a relationship, in a work environment or family dynamic or something. And you'll access your freedom and your power through the divine feminine essence. God, I love that. So I'm going to read a little more about her, because that's what I did in the other piles. So she, again, is about protection. It says you are strongly protected right now. It says you are invited to embrace your authenticity and to be unafraid to wisely express your emotions. To protect others, we must learn to develop strength in ourselves and to know the power of restraint, which is what real power involves. I see. It's not just telling everybody what to do, what they should and shouldn't do. This is loving people as they are, and also having firm boundaries. Physical boundaries, emotional boundaries, and behavioral boundaries. Wow. And the only way we know what our boundaries are is when our shadow teachers squeeze into our lives and cause disruption, disorder, disarray, right? So, God, so many layers here. All right. So I am cooked. So I'm going to finish this reading. If you want to stay with me, I'm going to close energy in the piles here. Let's see. All right, well, let me get these straight. All right, friends, let me close space, thanking all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light that assisted with this guidance for you today. I'm also going to thank Archangel Michael for showing up with his sirens and his beautiful messages. And I'm going to ask that any healing that was started continue for as long as it needs to be done. And so it is. And those are your messages. So friends, thank you so much for watching. If those readings touched your heart, if they resonated in any way, I would be super grateful if you could hit that like button. If you want to be part of this community energetically and you want to subscribe, that's great. But just please know, just by you showing up, by you being present, by you just feeling the reading and being inspired by it, you already are part of this community. You already are part of the beautiful souls on this world that are really transforming this planet from the inside out. So thank you for the work that you're doing. I know it's not easy. I love you so much. trust in the divine, trust your intuition, and I send you love with heavenly hugs. Bye for now.